everybody, Phil Schmidt here, just making some handles. Just put on one. I made a video of it, not sure if you're going to see it or not because it kind of stinks, to be honest. But I'll try again here. So I start off with kind of a carrot looking piece of clay. You want a bucket of water, some sponges. I like a small sponge for getting into little areas of the handle. Slip with a brush. This is not important. I use this tool here. This has little spiky ridges. This helps me score really quickly. When you're making a lot of handles, that kind of stuff matters. When you're just putting on one, it doesn't matter. Use a fork or something. Stamp. Finish the handle, or to finish the pot. I like a needle tool. You could use a fettling knife or something if you prefer, but needle tool for cutting things. I think that's it. And a nice clean area to work with, big area. I've already started. I have put this kind of edging around my cup, and I just take my thumb and I go around, and then I use the soft part of my hand here to kind of tap that over. I've already decided where I'm going to put my handle. This cup kind of has a tilt, so I'm going to put the handle at the lower side of the tilt. So I'm just going to start by forming my handle. I get my hand really wet, and I just make this kind of form with my hand, and I go back and forth on the clay. And I'll also kind of grab it if I want to squeeze it, like if it's getting too wide for me, squeeze it a little bit to make it more round, and then keep bringing it down. And I want the basic shape. I don't want the whole handle yet. Sometimes you get big pieces of clay that end up on the bottom there that can kind of ruin your handle if you're not careful. So I just lob those off with my hands. I'm using my thumb on the edge here, not straight on the edge, but just at a diagonal, and kind of the heel of my thumb. And what I'm doing is I'm kind of doctoring this edge so that it's like a rounded point. The reason being is I don't like a cut or a flat side on the sides. I think it makes the handle look kind of clunky. So I'm just trying to make sure this has a little bit of an edge to it. It's just a little trick for you there. I'd say this handle looks good. We're going to stick it on the mug. I just take my scoring tool and kind of go for it. When you slip it up with the slip and the brush, a lot of these scoring marks will go away. So don't be afraid to kind of get in there. I like to go different directions too. I think it helps the handle stick a little bit better. I'm going to put slip on there. I like to use a lot for the reason of so that I can push that slip out when I push the handle on. And what it does is it makes kind of a suction cup effect, which I think helps the handle. So I'm just going to tap this on the top here to form it to the natural roundness of the cup. And then, I hope you can see this, 'cause I usually use the table. Just going to push it in. Maybe you can see it this way. Sometimes I rest the handle on the table like that. That can be handy. Again, what I'm looking for is I'm looking for the suction cup, almost like a leech, to kind of just sit there. That will help me in the next step. So it's pretty well on there. I usually kind of run my finger around the edges, the backside, Oops, I don't know if you can see that. The back side and the front side, just to kind of seal up any gaps. If there are gaps, I've had handles come off when I'm pulling it again. So I make sure there are no gaps. Then I get the handle really wet. And I continue pulling it. Now this is where the magic happens. This helps the handle kind of look like it grew from the pot and not look like a strange attachment. Like I said, there are many ways to do handles. I prefer this one. I think it looks nice. That's all. This is a little bit harder of a method to do when you start. But to practice, find a plastic cup or maybe a bucket, something that won't fall over when you put a lug of clay on it, and just practice putting handles on there, like this bucket here. It's a little weird, but you could get some better handles the more you practice. So. All right, that's good. I think it's slim enough. I think it looks fine. So I'm just going to kind of gently let it fall down here and just guess about where I want it. And then I'm going to press it into the bottom, if you can see that. And I don't actually score and slip the bottom. I never have. I've never had a problem with it either. Coming off anyway. Whoops. Now I'm just gonna use my needle tool again, kind of cut this lunk off. There's a lot of silly words when I make pots, I guess. So that's set. I'm gonna use my finger and smush it on there. I kind of like the the leach, the animal, not the powder, this leach effect that happens. And I also enjoy this little ridge right here. Hope you can see that right here. That happens from me pushing down and leaving this part untouched. I think that's a pretty little ridge, so I try to keep that. Now I take my sponge and I'm gonna just clean up the bottom part of this handle where I cut it. It just softens it a bit. What I don't want is I don't want to smear this into the cup. I think that looks goofy. That's just personal preference. Every potter's got them. So that's done on the bottom. I'm just going to kind of smear the slip that had come out when I made put the handle on. I'm just kind of smearing it to blend it into the cup, and I'm just about done. So there's my handle so far. It looks a little strange. And all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my finger inside and do that. And actually, I really enjoy that. I think that really fits the shape nicely. I think it'll fit 2 fingers perfectly. You got to make sure that when these things dry, if it fits perfectly right now, it's going to dry and shrink in the firing, and you're going to be disappointed when it comes out. So make them a little bigger. So when I say it fits perfect, I'm saying there's enough room there so that when it shrinks, it'll fit great. Another thing, if you have sharp edges, even if with a slip, those can dry and fire to rock hard sharp edges. So you want to make sure that those aren't going to poke anybody, because those can hurt. And the last step, there you go, a Phil Schmidt original. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.